Alright, so this is going to be tough to record and show, but I'll do my very best. This is a late 2013 27-inch iMac model A1419, I believe. Okay, we're going to be opening this up. As you can see, the hinge is broken, but the main thing we were doing is the SSD upgrade. I'm going to see if I can fix the hinge with a scrap piece of metal that I can chop up, but we'll see. Alright, so first thing, you're going to need a tool to open this thing up. Alright, you're going to need also replacement adhesive. When you buy adhesive, you can buy it with a tool like this, but really any really thin tool will work, but this tool works really well. I've already actually cut the adhesive because I was opening it up to replace just the SSD, and then when I found out that it has, it doesn't have a built-in hard drive and it's using an SSD only, then I'm gonna have to take the whole motherboard out. So first thing you do, you use this tool and you kind of just roll it in and you go around the edges to kind of cut the adhesive all the way along the sides as well. Okay, so basically you would go around and then go down the sides, go around the top, go around the sides. Okay, so just like that. Once you cut it all, I put some tape here to hold it up because it's just going to fall forward. So I'll take this tape out now. But basically, once you cut that up, you can let this fall forward, but be careful because there are cables in here. So I'm going to try and show this the best I can. It's going to be tough, but let's see if I can angle the thing well enough. Okay, so as you can see, there's two cables in here. So there's this one here, and then there's a flip latch one here. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good enough view, but I'll try. Okay, so let's see. So in here, this flip latch one, I might have to actually hold the camera by hand to show this and hold the screen and stuff up with my knee or something. Okay, so we'll get this out. Alright, so we'll go in here, and here you can see there's this connector here. This has little squeeze-in tabs that you need to push in or squeeze to get out. Usually what I do is I just use my fingernail to push it in as I pull it up. So I push like that, and you can see it kind of came up. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. It's going to be hard to get in there, but do what you can. If anything, you can actually remove this cable first. So this one has a little flip latch, which the way I remove that one is I get my fingernail under it, and then I flip it up. So let's see if I can. It's hard to do it with the camera in my face, but get under there, flip that latch up just like that. Once you flip that up, you can grab this cable and pull it straight up. Okay, and then now we're going to go on this side and try and get this one out. So basically, again, there's a little push in thing that you need to push in there, and then you can pull that up. All right, it's hard to do this with the camera in my way, but I'll do the best I can. So again, same thing, push it in and then push that up. I think that side's already up. This side, it's kind of tough because the screen and stuff is in the way, but let's go ahead and get in there. And then push that in and flip it up. Okay. Oh, it did move up a little bit, but not enough. And again, we'll just get in there and try and get that up. It's still not out all the way, or is this side still in? Okay, push that in and raise it up. And it feels like that came up. Let's go ahead and go on this side again. Same thing, push that in. And push that up, and there we go, pops out. So next thing, this thing can fall forward. Since we are going to have to remove the motherboard, we are going to actually peel out this whole adhesive down here. Normally I would leave this adhesive in, and then I would use that, I would put like a box or something to hold the screen up so it doesn't fall all the way down, and that way I can replace the hard drive that's right here with an SSD. But again, because this one doesn't have the hard drive, it has an SSD built in or attached on the back of the motherboard, logic board, we are going to have to remove this whole screen. So when you pull that, there's this little tab here that you can kind of grab. Okay, so the adhesive. If you noticed, I also peeled out all the adhesive. Once you cut it, you do have to remove the residue, so you gotta scrape that and then slowly peel that away. Same thing with the one on the wireless antennas here. You want to peel all that adhesive out. Okay. We're going to now get this one out here, grab that, and then we're going to pull on this slowly, okay? and this should slowly peel the adhesive out from behind the screen. You want to be careful because the screen can fall down once you remove all this adhesive, okay? So you can see we're pulling this out, and there's actually 2 layers coming out. All right, and that's because it's separating from both the front and the from the glass part of the screen and the aluminum part of the backing. All right, so we're just peeling that all out. There we go, and we'll toss that aside. Same thing on this side. There's another tab here. Just grab that, and we'll pull this up slowly, carefully. Okay. Slowly, carefully peel this all up. Again, hold on to the screen because it will fall out. So I'm kind of keeping some pressure on it. I'm actually resting it on my knees. And we'll continue pulling this up slowly and carefully. And we're almost at the end here. There we go. Okay, I think a little bit of it is still stuck there. But as you can see now, this kind of wiggles here. So we got to be very careful. I'm going to hold here, and I'm going to push with my finger on there to kind of pull it away. And there we go. Okay, so there we separated it. You can see there's a little bit more of this adhesive here. So we're going to try and peel that all up. Get that and peel that away. Okay. Just like this. There we go. Okay, so now we got all the bottom adhesive out. You can see this kind of left some weird ripple in it, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to set the screen aside now. Be very careful with this. Don't pinch on it too hard or anything. All right, you don't want to break it, and make sure it's somewhere that's stable, that's not going to fall out. Okay, you can see a bunch of this adhesive is still here, so we are going to have to peel that out. Okay, I might be able to put it back on the tripod after I get this. Actually, let me put it on the tripod now. I think I can raise this up and lower this, and hopefully that will hold it in a good position. Okay. Dog's barking. I might have to calm him down in a bit, but let's see here. So we got this. We're going to scrape that. Okay, and then we'll grab that and we'll peel this. Okay, slowly, carefully peel this. There we go. Okay, give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back, and again, we are going to have to remove these screws down here. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. Alright, you can see these are just some Phillips screws. So let me go ahead and get a screwdriver to remove those, so we can remove this little bar that helps hold that all in place. I don't know why Apple put that there. I think it's more just to make it more difficult to take apart, because really that's not necessary. I believe they are JIS 0 screws. Let me try a JIS 1 just to make sure. Yeah, that doesn't fit. So we are going to go with the JIS 0, and we're going to remove these screws, okay? Alright, and this holds a little bar thingy in place. Oh, that screw's kind of staying in there. You want to keep the screws in order. You don't want to mix them up, okay? So usually what I do is I just line them up on my work surface, like in the pattern I remove them, so we have this long line. So I'm just going to put them like that, okay? So we'll just continue here. Oh, I gotta make sure my cat doesn't come in here. Also, I have an ESD bag that's on the floor that I'm gonna be putting the logic board and stuff in once I get them out. So let's go ahead and continue. And I also cleaned the thing out by using a powerful electric air blower to kind of blow the dust away. Okay. Get all these out. last screw. It's kind of stuck. Venus, you're not supposed to sit on the ESD bag. I need that. Get out of the way. Get out of the way, please. Okay, so once we get all those screws out, we can actually pull the metal thingy out. All right. Or we should be able to. Why is it stuck in there? Huh. It's stuck in there. It doesn't want to come out. Let me see. Come on. It's falling inside. You see these little tab things that stick up? We got to remove those. Venus, move out. Move out of the way. I got to work. Okay, so I'm going to use a little tool to try and get in to lift that up. Okay, so there you go. I just stuck it in. These are like loops. And then I stuck it in one of the loops to get it out. And now we can go ahead and lift this thing out. Okay, just like that. You can see how the screws go into it. Putting this back is a little bit tricky, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Alright, so we'll set that bar aside. Okay, next thing we gotta do is kind of disconnect all these other cables. I don't know if I have to remove the power supply from here, but I guess let's go ahead and do it. So you got these connectors here. I guess I can't adjust the angle quite too much, but we'll see. Hopefully this is good enough. We can go ahead and pull these tabs. So same thing. This is like the pinch ones where you got to kind of pinch it inwards to get this out. You can see it is a little tricky. Be careful with the little components and stuff on the boards around it. Okay, and pull that out. Okay, so now we got that connector disconnected. We're gonna go ahead and remove these. You got the power button connector here, so be very careful not to damage that, or you're not gonna be able to turn on your iMac. All right, so we'll set that aside, and I believe this is like a T10 maybe. Let me over there. Okay, so let's try T10 here. Okay, yep. All right, and we're gonna remove these screws holding the power supply in place. Venus, stop coming over here. It's not safe for you, okay? I might have to put my cat in the other room. Give me a second. All right, so I'm back. I removed that one screw. Let's go ahead and remove this one. Okay. And now that the hinge doesn't have the screen holding it, you can see it can kind of work better. Which probably means one screw is probably okay, or one spring is okay, but the other one isn't. Also, again, keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. You don't want to mix them up. The one in this corner was actually much longer than the ones down here, but I always, oh, this one's also super long. So, yeah, always try and keep them in order just in case. The speaker screws I might actually also have to remove to move it aside a little bit, so let me show you that here. Okay, so the speaker has 2 screws. We're going to undo those screws as well. Okay, so we got that one. This one's a kind of shorter screw, and then we got this one as well. This one also short. Okay, they're both short. Okay, and then we're gonna just pull this slightly forward and move it over to the side a little. We do have to disconnect that cable down there. Okay, so this is the power button cable again, so be very careful. I just go with the wings, so the cable, the connector has some wings, and then I kind of just wiggle it at the wings to pop it out. Just keep wiggling it, and it should eventually pop out. There we go, just like that. All right, and again, normally there's a hard drive here, and you would have to remove these screws, or at least on one side, and then you can swing it forward and slot it out. But in this case, the hard drive isn't here, so yeah. Anyways, next we're gonna get this out, hopefully. There's a connector here as well that needs to be removed. So now that we got all those screws, we can pull this forward. And then this power supply connector, it has a little clip on it on the back. I don't know if I can even show that. There you go, you can kind of see. So that clip needs to be pinched in. So you need to pinch that. So when you go, you pinch on it, and then you can go ahead and pull it out, but I need 2 hands to kind of keep the thing more stable. So I'm going to put this back on there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pinch this, and then I'm going to wiggle this connector. It's kind of tough, there's not much room in there. Let's see if we can actually pull this up slightly. So we can pull the power supply up and kind of out a little bit. Alright, and now that it's pulled forward a bit, I have more room to get in here. Be careful, because these things can sometimes still have power in it and you might electrocute yourself, so be careful. Alright, so pinch that and then wiggle it. Man, this is tough. It's stuck in there pretty strong. I'll show you the clip when I get this out, assuming I can get it out. Why is it stuck so strong? I might have to go from this side with my other hand. The clip doesn't feel like it's disengaging, so I'm a little worried. Normally I can push that and I feel it springing out, but it feels like it's stuck. Let me see, can I push it in more maybe? Sometimes pushing in allows you to grip that clip a bit better, or it releases some friction from it, and then can hopefully, there we go. Okay, and there we go. Oh, there's also a connector down there I forgot about. So at the bottom there's also a connector down here, same thing with a little clip that you need to pinch, and then you can go ahead and wiggle and pull that out. I'm gonna have to hold the power supply kind of like this and pinch and wiggle, and there we go. So here's the cable, and here's the clip I was talking about. Why isn't it focusing? Focus, please. There you go. So there's the clip, so you can pinch this, and then that clip goes up. So we're going to set this aside on the ESD bag, okay? And then this little one down here also, like I said, has a little clip there. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and remove this cable here. Excuse me. Okay, so this cable is for the speaker, and also it's one of those that you gotta pinch inwards. And we're just gonna go ahead and push that in and wiggle it. Okay, just like that. There we go. Alright, and let's tilt this more. Move this back some so you can kind of see more of it. Alright, I need better lighting here. I mean, it looks okay in the camera, but for me it's like very dim. Okay, so we got a bunch of cables here. If I remember correctly, we might not need to remove this one, but we'll see. Okay, there's this cable here. I think that's for that, so we can remove this. This has another one of those flip latch things, so let me actually get a closer view for you guys. Also, it gives me more lighting because I'm just using the flash of the camera or my phone. Alright, so we have this. I get underneath. Again, you can pull up this little black flap, but I find it's easier to use my fingernail to get underneath the tab and flip it like that. Okay, and then you can use this latch to just pull it straight back. Oh, it's focusing on my hand, not on that. So there we go. Okay, and then you can kind of wiggle that and pull that back. Come on. Why is it stuck so strong in there? Come on, let go. Let me actually remove the fan first. That'll give me more room to work on that. Okay, so we'll zoom out here a bit and raise this up. Okay, and hopefully you guys are keeping track of all the screws. It is a lot of screws. Okay, we'll get to the fan here. Okay, that. And this one. And then other one here. And I think that's all the fan screws. Okay, be careful not to drop it back there. Alright, now let's see, can we... I forget. I think, okay, you can see the fan now pulled away. The rubber kind of stuck to this a little bit. And then you got the fan connector here. It might be that this is attached to the heatsink there, so maybe we're going to leave that. And then we're going to go ahead and get this connector out. It has the little wings on the connector, so I'm going to wiggle that and pop it up, just like with the, whatchamacallit. Okay, let's see, maybe we can just peel this off. So I'm going to carefully twist this, okay, and you can see it peeled away. And there's the fan. It is a little dirty, but yeah. I tried cleaning it with the air blower, but some stuff still sticks. Anyways, that's the fan. We'll set that aside. Okay. Second. Alright. So, this is the connector, like I said, for the camera, or eyesight camera, webcam, whatever you want to call it. We're going to now pull this connector. Why is it stuck so strong? There we go. Okay. And we'll put that back there for now. Okay, what else do we got to remove here? We got this other fan connector down there, so let me zoom in there, or not the fan, sorry, the speaker connector here. Alright, also the wireless antennas are underneath this, it seems, so we might actually have to remove this speaker to get to that first. This design's kind of annoying, so let me actually... Yeah, okay, let's do that, tighten that, okay. Alright, and let's go ahead and remove the two screws here, holding this speaker in place. This is all using a T10 or Torx 10 screwdriver. Alright, and we'll remove this one as well. You can use the security Torx bits as well. You don't need to use the regular T10. And now we can kind of pull this forward a bit and move that out of the way. And we don't really need to take the whole speaker out. If you want, you can. But shouldn't be necessary. The wire, again, goes over and then under here. There's also... Oops. Let me see here. There you go. So the wire goes over and then over here. There's also this connector here that we need to remove. So this one is easy to remove. It's just kind of like a Lego brick kind of thing where you just got to get in between and pop it to separate it. So I get under there and then just pop it up just like that. Not 100% sure what that's for. I guess we'll find out when we get more stuff out. I forget what it was for. Alright, we're going to remove the speaker connector here, so I'm going to get under here, pinch that, pull that, okay, then same thing with this one, pull that, pinch that, pull that, and this one, pinch that, pull that, alright, this one, there we go, and that one, pull that. Okay, so there we go, we got that out. Now we got the 4 wireless antenna connectors that we need to remove. So again, to remove this, or not again, but to remove this, let me see if I can get a better angle. Usually I just go from the tail and then just pull straight, alright, just like this. It'll tilt at an angle and then it should pop out, okay? So we're going to do that for all 4, just like that. And, okay, it helps to use like 2 fingers, and the last one there. Okay, so we got those 4 out. We're going to push those behind the wireless card, and then I guess make sure you know which one goes where. You can see like this is on the left, this one's second, then this one's third, and then, well, you can see it when you have it in person because the wires are coming from those directions. Alright, anyways, speaker disconnected. Let me see what else. Let's zoom back out. Okay, now we can go ahead and start removing the motherboard, logic board screws. Okay, again, keep all of these in order. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of screws here. You want to keep track of everything. There's this big screw. There's also small screws here. I don't remember if I have to remove those. Might have to, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and just remove all the big screws first. 2 there. We got 1 more here. Okay, give me a second. Alright, so let's... Uh-oh, one of those screws fell in there. That's what I was a little bit worried about. Yeah, we'll have to fish it out afterwards because we can't reach it now. Alright, let's go ahead and continue removing the other screws. Okay, that one. There's one in this corner. Alright. That one out. Alright, then we'll get this one out. Alright, so we got all of those. Let's see, will it come out now, or is there still something holding it in? We might have to remove the heatsink screws here. So there's 2 screws holding the heatsink in place. There's one here. At least I think that's holding the heatsink. Alright, I don't know. I think I've only done like 1 or 2 of these before, so I'm just going based off what it seems like should be removed. So we're going to get that one out. Let's see, does this... Okay, looks like the heatsink is coming forward. I think there might be a screw hidden in this hole here. So, let's see. Okay, is there a screw hidden in there? If there is, I don't know if the screwdriver I have is going to work with it. There's definitely a screw hidden in there. Let's see if I can somehow get it out with my screwdriver. I don't know if it will work or not, but we'll try. Okay. So, can it reach? It can reach. Oh, okay. That's going to be very hard to aim to get back in there, but we'll see. Alright, so feels like the screw came out, but I don't know. I hope it's out. Oh, yeah, okay. Seems like it's out now. Let's see if we can pull the whole motherboard out. You can see it's wiggling now, and this whole thing is wiggling, but it still seems like it might be secured to something, so let's see. I'm gonna have to take a closer look here. There's one there. Oh, we might have to remove that. So it seems like there might be a screw on the side here. Is that holding it? Do I need to remove that? Really? I mean, it looks like it's all wiggling with it from pulling it, so I don't think I need to remove that. Okay, that all looks like it came forward. Maybe I just had to pull that back more. And let's go ahead and see if we can pull the logic board, motherboard out. Okay. Alright, wiggle this some more. Come on, what's holding this? Kind of wiggling and pulling this. Feels like something is still attaching it somewhere. I don't know, it's wiggling a lot, like it's gonna come out. Okay, let's actually pull the speaker out so we have more room, and maybe that'll make it easy enough if we can. Okay, so we'll pull this up. You can see this cable's coming out. Is it attached to something? It's kind of wrapped around. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We got that speaker out. We'll set that aside. And let's see now. What is holding this in place here? Am I missing something? Am I missing something here? One thing we could do, I don't know if it will help, on the back, there's the removable plate for the RAM here. Let me show you how this works. I don't know if removing that will do anything, but let's go ahead and do it. So this door is removable. There's a little button underneath the power button switch. So you gotta push in that. That's hard to do this like at that angle. So what I'm gonna do, sorry, let me put this on here, and you're kind of just gonna have to know what's going on. But I'm gonna hold the thing in place and push on that button. And then when you push on that, it actually pops the bottom of it out a bit, and then you can get under there and you can pull this out. I don't think that's going to be what's holding it in place, but I mean, might as well. Okay, there's also, as you can see, 4 sticks of RAM. Okay, so if you wanted to, you can remove those sticks of RAM. Anyways, we're going to rotate this guy. And let's see. Is that going to somehow make it so this can pop out? I don't think so. No, I feel there's something still holding it down, but I'm not too sure what. Something on this side. Should I just pop that screw off here? Okay, let's just remove that screw and see if that does anything. I don't think it will, but why not? Do we have access to it? No, not really. I don't know. Oh, my bad. There's this big screw here. That's also a screw mount. We got to remove that. And that one uses a bigger screwdriver. So we're going to have to switch to a larger one. I forgot about that. Sorry. I knew like this one was, the other one was removable, but I didn't think one was holding it down. So let's see. How am I going to show this here? What size do we need for that? We need a much larger one. Might be like a T20, Torx 20, let's see. Or possibly larger. Larger than a T20. What do I have? We're going to use a... What about 25? Is that too big? Because that's where it jumps to. Yeah. Okay, so a T25, Torx 25, or security bit 1. Okay. So I'll remove that. Alright, and now we should be able to pop... Yeah. Stupid bit. Okay, so we got that one. Alright, switch back to the T10 because that's probably what we're going to use more of. Alright, and now we should be able to grab the motherboard out, wiggle it, and there we go. Okay, so here now we have, what is this? I don't know where that came from. Random plastic bit. Okay, so here you can see what the motherboard looks like on the other side. You got the wireless card there. If you want to remove it, the screws are on this side. So if you want to remove the wireless card, here you can see the CPU and everything. It doesn't look like there, or that's the GPU. The CPU is under this one, there in the middle. And it looks like it's soldered to the motherboard, so not upgradable. Here you can see the 4 sticks of RAM clearer. It does have these 2 tabs that you got to push to the side to release them. So if you wanted to upgrade the RAM, normally you would do it from the back of the iMac. You don't take the whole motherboard out to do that, but when you pull the tabs, you can see it goes up like that. We're going to clip it back down, all right? But you would basically do that, and then you can pull them out of the tray, all right? I'm going to leave them in there. Actually, let me pull one out so you can see what type of RAM. So you can grab that, and the RAM is 8 gig PC3L 12800S. So PC3L 12800S, you should be okay using any type of PC3L 12800S. There's no Mac specific RAM that you need to use, so keep that in mind. All right, we're going to push that back in. Make sure it goes all the way into the tray. If they're not pushed all the way in, then your computer's not going to work properly. Okay, here's the SSD that they're using. This SSD is bad, and it keeps like turning off and on. So we are going to have to replace that. There's also BR2032. I don't know if that's the same as a CR2032. I don't think I've ever seen BR2032. That's kind of weird. There's also apparently a SATA connector. Oh, this SATA connector is for if you have the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive, which they didn't include on this. I don't see where the connector is for the power for it, though. It's supposed to have power as well. This is just for the data. So maybe it's the one back here, because I don't think I unplugged anything from the back side. And yeah, so that's the motherboard. The other side doesn't really have anything on it. I don't know if people need a close-up of this, but might as well show it while I can. Okay, this is an older model, so I'm not too sure how many people are going to see this video now, but hopefully it's useful to people. Okay. Alright, so again, putting this one screw through this hole is probably going to be a pain. But actually it stays attached to this, so it's a little bit easier. You just have to line it up and then get it in. Okay, so for the SSD, let me show you. Hopefully this adapter will work for it. Usually I use it on the MacBooks. But they have this little adapter that converts the Apple SSDs so that you can use an NVMe SSD. So we're going to try and get that and see if it works. And hopefully it's just the SSD that's bad. Alright. So I'll set that aside. Let me show you now the hinge, why it's broken. Here you can see inside. Okay. Okay, you can see inside there. Alright, so as you can see, one of this hinges... Oh, that's what the broken plastic is. So this plastic piece here, okay, there's a little circle with a plastic thing there, and that's what holds the hinge in place. So this is supposed to be held that way, and it's really tough to pull this thing up into place. It might be easier if I actually remove the hinge, but I'm gonna try and do it without doing that. Okay, I think I need a smaller bit for this. Let's try a T9, Torx 9, because the other one's not going in. Yep. Okay, so I don't know what Apple was thinking, but they used this plastic piece. You can see, I don't know why they used a piece of plastic thinking that's going to be strong enough to hold. But basically it holds this spring pushed up here, and this spring is super tough to push. Okay, so it's not easy. So what I'm going to do, we'll see if I can get this working, but I'm going to use like a piece of metal here instead. Okay, I'm going to cut a piece of metal to fit here, and then I'm going to drill some holes to line up with that, and that's going to hold this in place instead. Okay, so I'm going to try and cut a piece of metal here and then do that, and we'll see if that works. Give me a second. I'm going to get a marker to mark how far apart the holes are so I can drill it, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so I'm back. We got this. I might as well take the entire thing out so we have one solid piece of metal instead of the plastic the way they have it. So let me actually take this one out. That spring is going to launch the screw at me, so I got to be careful. But let's see. Actually, am I using the right size screwdriver? It seems a little... Yeah, it should be right. T9, Torx 9. I don't know why this one feels like it's not holding too well. Is this using a security T9? Let me see here. I'm using the wrong one. Let me use a security T9. And maybe that will work better. No? Something's just weird with that screw? What's going on here? No, it might be I need a T8. Okay, so let's switch over to a T8 or Torx 8 and see if that fits better. Yeah, okay. So this is actually a T8 or Torx 8, sorry for the confusion. And this is, oh, there you go. It launched the screw forward. And let me show you what the plastic, oh, now it just falls completely because there's no hinge at all. This is what Apple uses. And you can see this one was breaking as well. Just a piece of plastic. Like, why? Whose idea was that? Who thought that was a good idea? Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to get a piece of metal, and we're just going to cut it, like, to fit here, and cut some holes there, okay? So, this is probably not aligned right, but that's okay. We'll just cut the hole a little bit higher, not centered, okay? And can I somehow get this lined up here? I'm probably going to have to cut the metal off first so I have a decent sized piece. So I guess we'll probably just cut it here or break it here somehow. So let me cut this metal piece real quick and I'll be back. I'm going to probably use like some end cutters or something that I can just snip this. Alright, so I cut the metal piece here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just line it up. And I'm going to put some marks here so I know where the center is. And then we're going to cut some circles there. So I'll draw like from the outer edge of each side. Also, if you're wondering, they do sell stuff for this, so you don't need to buy, or you don't need to make this. You can actually buy a piece of thing like that. Oh, also I forgot, I dropped that one screw in there. Let me make sure I get that out before I forget. If it's still in there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Or can you see it? I don't know if I can get a good angle. There it is. So we'll get that screw. Take that out. Okay. Alright, so next thing. We got two. I gotta drill some holes in that thing, in the piece of metal that I made. So here's what I did. I marked this piece up, and I'm just gonna drill some holes here to get it to fit. And the holes technically only need to be large enough to fit the screws. So I guess I'll just make them the size of this hole. Okay, so I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be back. Alright, so I finished making the bracket thing here, and this actually fits over the screws. If I tighten it, it'll actually push onto both of them. The hard part will be pulling this spring up and then tightening that into place while it's being held up. So I'm going to have to hold the thing up like this, and then we're going to try and get one of these springs over here. So basically you line it up and then you push this up here, and then I'm going to have to get the spring to fit, or the screw to go in. Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to do this while the camera's there in my way, but I'll try. So I'll hold this up. Let's see here. Okay. Alright, and then we'll try and push this up. And we'll try and bend this towards here. I'll use this thumb to try and push it in. And see if I can somehow get the screwdriver to go. So let's see here. I need to make sure I have the right screwdriver bit in, the T8 or Torx 8. Okay. Okay. This is very difficult to do. So you gotta push that in and then get that screw. Is it going? Okay, looks like that screw is holding. Now we gotta somehow get that one in. So we'll rotate this a bit, and then we gotta push this hinge up. I'll probably need another tool, and then while we're holding that, we gotta get the other screw in. So this is very difficult. And it's more difficult because I'm trying to record it. Let me see if I can move it to the ground where I can have the thing laying flat, and then it might make it easier. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so I think I found a way to get it. So we got this screw in all the way. And the hard part is now bending this one in. I put this blanket in to keep the hinge all the way opened, or as much as possible. Then we'll have to bend that to get it in. Alright, give me a second. Alright, let's see if we can get this in. Again, the hardest part is getting both of these down at the same time. So I'm going to try using some pliers to twist it, and hopefully I can get it to go past this, and then I can push this metal piece on top. So, come on. Yeah, that's the hard part. Come on, get in there. It's hitting the metal bar that I made, so it's stuck. Oh, there we go. Yeah, twisting this is very difficult. Okay, so I think I got it. I can push that in slightly. I'm going to use something else to try and push that in further. Let me see, maybe the screwdriver. Probably should get a flathead screwdriver to make it easier, but let's see if this works. Push that in, spring, Yeah, I'm gonna have to use like a flathead screwdriver. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so this slotted whatever screwdriver will probably work best. So I'm gonna use that to push that and rotate it, and it's working. Perfect. Okay, so now we gotta push this down and get the screw in. I don't know if that's gonna be doable, but we'll try. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so let's get that in, get that screw, and we're going to try and push this down. And let's see. Okay, it's going to be difficult from this angle. I'm going to go around to the other side. And let's see if I can see where the screw is going to line it up. Not quite there. There we go. And now we got to just push really hard down and screw this in, I think. I think it's lined up. Wow, that's really tough. Try and hold this down. Oh my god, this is very tough. Come on. Yeah, that's super tough to hold down and get the screw in. Okay, let me move the camera and see if I can get better lighting. Give me a second. Okay, hopefully this will be better for me and you guys. Push that in. Get this screw down. Yeah, this is super tough to do. If that's gonna happen, I might have to loosen this one a tiny bit. Hopefully not that it flies out. I gotta be careful, because if you undo that too much, it will fly out. Okay, I might have to hold the camera further down here so I can see. It's really hard to do this. I don't have a good tripod to mount this for you guys to see and for me to see. It feels like it's lined up in there. Oops. But it doesn't want to go in. Give me a second. I'm going to screw it in a little bit and I'll be back. Alright, so I was able to get it in. What I did was, this spring on this side was actually sticking out a little further, so it had more tension. So I started this side first, and then I worked on this side. So now we just got to tighten this all the way in more. Okay, I'm going to have to align this a bit, and there we go. Oops, I think I aligned it too much. Okay, so I'll get that in. Alright, so it actually went down past that circle point that I was talking about earlier, so it's pulling the spring all the way down. Hopefully it won't be too tensioned that it just flings forward, but there we go. That's as tight as I can get it. And then we're going to do this side as well. Okay. This is super tiring. Okay, I don't know if that side needs to be pushed further down this way or something. Oops, sorry, I'm going out of view, aren't I? Okay. Yeah, I think this side's not going into the hole like the other one did. So I can tighten this one more. I think I can loosen this, and then I can probably slide this down some. Might need a tool to do this. Let me put it back in the tripod. Okay, there we go. Now we gotta get this piece. Let's see. I think I gotta pull this down more there, like that. Hopefully that's right. Let's see if this will tighten more down. Okay, I feel like it's going down a lot more than before, so hopefully that's correct. we should be good. It's still not lined up right. I guess let me undo it a little bit and try and move it again. Let's use the flathead one. Well, it's not really moving now, so maybe that's about as much as it's going to get. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's staying there, so that's probably in the right spot. Okay. Getting this guy in. Alright, there we go. So we got all of that. And I'm going to take the blanket out, and it should, yep, now it holds itself. Alright, let's get this all put back together. We do need to put the SSD as well, so let's go move back to the other place. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and get the SSD in. So we got this ESD bag here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove the Apple SSD because that one's having issues. Let's see what screw it needs. Is it a T8? Torx 8? Yep. Okay, so we're going to use the T8 Torx 8 screwdriver still to remove that. Okay, once we get that screw out, this pulls up slightly, and then you can kind of wiggle it to pull it out. So there's the SSD. Okay, and this was actually only 512 gigs. I don't know if they need a 1 terabyte. Let me see if I have a 500 gig one. I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Got a 500 gig SSD. Alright, 12 gig shouldn't really make too much difference, so let's go ahead and swap this. Alright. Okay, so we got a 500 gig Crucial P3 SSD, and then we have the little adapter here. Okay, so this connects on here, so we just get that on, and hopefully connector is the same as this. Okay, it does look like it has the same notches with the same lines in it. Okay, so this should be the same. As long as we can get this SSD to fit in that slot and get the screw in, we should be good. Okay, so make sure the SSD is pushed in all the way. Okay, then we'll just get this lined up and push that in. Okay, looks like it's being difficult, but get that lined up and push that in. Let me see, this is the same, right? Needs to be, yeah, it all lines up exactly the same, so should be good. We just gotta line that up right. It's hard to see, but there we go. Okay, so that one went in. Make sure it goes in all the way, and oh, there we go, it goes in further. We didn't push it in quite all the way, and I'm gonna rotate this so I can get a little more grip to push it. Push that in all the way, and here you can see now we have the screw mount here. It is a little further back, so it helps to kind of raise it up a little and then get the screw in. Okay, and then you can go ahead now and tighten that down. Alright, I'm going to hold that in place so it doesn't move. Tighten that down, and there we go. Okay, so now we have the new SSD in place. Okay, we just gotta remount everything back into the computer, and then we are going to have to redo the operating system and everything. So the customer said they were mainly just running Windows, so basically I just have to find Windows. They had Windows 10 Pro, not the Mac OS, and then I'll install that, and then I should be able to get the drivers from Apple themselves. Alright, so let's go move over to the casing, and then let's reassemble this thing. Alright, so here we go. We got this back. Let's go ahead and get the motherboard into place. Okay. This is going to be a little tricky. You want to make sure all these cables end up back on top. Excuse me. This cable down here is actually for the audio. And then this plug that's down here connects to the plug that's on the back that plugs into the rest of the computer. So that's what that connector that we removed down here is for. Okay, so we're gonna get this. We gotta drop it down into place carefully. Okay, again, make sure all these connectors end up back on top. Slowly move that back in. Okay, gotta wiggle that, make sure it lines up properly. Don't forget we had that one silver screw mount that goes there that holds that. I am going to do the other screws first just to make sure everything is lined up properly and working well. Okay, so this does go in here. Looks like it's a little bit misaligned, so we'll try and line that up. Do we have any cables that are trapped back there? This one's out. Okay, this piece needs to line up as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what we can put in first. I think we're done with the T8 Torx 8, so we'll put that away. Okay, let's switch on over to the T10 or Torx 10. Is that? Yeah, T10, Torx 10. And let's first go ahead and get these screws mounted up here. It's hard to do this, I don't have good lighting, but okay, there we go. So we'll get that in first. Then we'll get the other one over here. And these are going into the heatsink mount. I don't know if you can tell from there. Let me see if I can show you better close up. Okay, so that's those two. So this one and this one. And I'm going to not tighten it all the way down yet because we want to try and get more of the screws in, make sure everything is aligned. Isn't going quite in. So let me see, is this... Oh, this has a flat portion that it needs to align with this, so this can actually line up right. So it helps, as you can see, I'm pulling it up, and that way it goes into where the smooth part of the screw is, and then I can tighten it down that way, and that helps align it. Make sure it's all lined up, okay? Tighten that in all the way. Tighten this in all the way. Okay, there we go. Next, we got the other motherboard screws here. Let me lower this down a little bit. Okay, we got this really long one that goes right in here. And that connects to the screw down below. We'll tighten that. Good. Then we got this other long one, which went up here, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'll tighten that in as well. Okay, good. Then we got this short one here that goes in this corner up here. Okay, get that one in. Perfect. We have 3 short ones down here, so we'll get those in as well. Okay, this one down here. Alright, this one here. Alright, and the last one in this corner here. We can go ahead and connect this into place. Just line it up and push it in, just like a Lego. Okay, then what do we have? We have the one that's hidden in here, so you gotta just try and find it. It can be a little tricky. Just wiggle the screwdriver around and spin it around until you find it. And then twist it backwards, you can hear it click. That's how you know it's lined up, and then twist it forward into place. Perfect. All right, we're gonna put the little silver bar thingy back in there, or the screw mount. That one's using the T25. Okay, so let's lower this, and we'll rotate, and you can actually see it right there. So that one, this piece goes right in there. You're gonna have to hold this one by hand, and then actually you can even like start it by hand if you wanted, but we'll get that in there, and then we'll get this in. Okay, oh, is it going in? It's going crooked. This is gonna be a little tough with the camera in my way, so I might have to move the camera to do this. Let's see. Actually, this might be a little misaligned. So let me switch back to the T10, loosen these up, and then I can just wiggle it a tiny bit. So loosen these a little. Just make sure to tighten them all back up. Oh, sorry, it's off view, but I'm basically just loosening all the motherboard screws again, so I can kind of move this a little bit. Alright, it looks like this might not be aligned right. Is it? I don't know. It doesn't want to move at all, so let's see. Let's loosen these as well a little bit, maybe. Okay, might have to put it out of alignment temporarily. Let's see, can we move this over a little bit? A little bit. Okay. Now we gotta get that T25 bit in. And get this lined up here and this tightened into place. Okay, and push that. And there we go. That's all lined up now. Right, we're done with the T25. Now we gotta get the rest back in. Down all the way. This one down all the way. Okay, and then we'll get all the other screws back in, and we should be good to go. So I got that screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, and I think that should be it. Can double check this one, but I didn't loosen this one. Yep. Can tighten it more. Alright. And now that we have clear view of the wireless antennas, I can put those back in so you can see the order. Okay, so wireless antennas, you have them all coming in like this. So the one coming in from the left plugs into the left. Make sure it lines up, you'll know because it gets caught on it, and then you can click it in place. Then you got the second one here coming in from above. Line that up and click that into place. Alright, then we got this one, third one. Click that. I got the fourth one. Click that. There we go. Okay, so we got all 4 wireless antennas back in. What else do we got to plug in here? We got this speaker, so we can go ahead and plug this in here. Just line it up and push it down, and then pinch that. Then we got the camera cable here. We can put that in as well. Line that up. Make sure it's lined up before forcing it down. Okay, can be a little tricky. There we go, line it up. And then it helps to kind of use the wings here to pull that down, and then click that into place. Perfect. Alright. I don't know if the order really matters for this stuff. We can go ahead and put the fan. If it ends up, we do have to put in a specific order, we'll just take it back out. But we'll get the fan connector here lined up and pinched in. Perfect. Okay, then we'll get this in and line that up. Alright, then we'll get this one lined up. third one lined up. And tighten those all in. Alright. Oop. That one and this one. Alright. What else we got? We got the screws for the power supply. We'll wait on that. Screws for the speakers. What did I do with those two? Oh, they're over here. Okay. Power supply is only 2, so I guess we can put the power supply. Actually, let's put the speaker on the right hand side first. Okay. Let's lift this up and tilt it a little. Okay, we'll get the speaker and slowly drop it into place. Oh, we do need to make sure this cable goes inside here, so behind. Okay. If you want, you can actually no, you can't. I was gonna say you can do that first. Okay, so we'll get that in and then guide the wire down as you drop it into place. Okay, line this up. And click it down. I can't see. There we go, click that in. Bad lighting here with this. I'm relying all on the camera lighting. Okay, so now we'll get these 2 screws in. Make sure to line it up so you can see the screw hole there, and then get that screw in. I like to twist it backwards and hear it click. There we go. And then you can loosely fit that one first because we need to make sure the bottom one here lines up as well. Good, and then tighten that down. And then tighten this down. Okay, perfect. Alright, what do we got left? We got the other speaker and the power supply, so let's move over to here. Okay, we got the power supply. So this one's a little tough because we got to get this little cable down here in there first. Okay, so line that up. It's extra tough with the camera in my way, but let's see here. Yeah, it's tough with the camera here. Let's rotate it all the way this way and I can see. And get that lined up. Come on. There we go. And then push that in. It should click. There we go. Then we'll rotate this back over. Slowly lower this down. We got this connector that needs to go, and also this cable needs to come out, so make sure you don't smash that down. Okay, because this needs to come out here, and then this one needs to plug in back here. So we're gonna get this one lined up and plug that in. It's difficult to do this with this kind of lighting. Let's see if I can tilt it so you guys can see as well. Okay, here. Okay, line that all up. And then click that in. Alright, it didn't click, so that's kind of weird, but let's get there. Oh, there we go. I heard it click now. Alright, again, make sure this cable comes forward. Then we gotta kind of lift and wiggle this to get it lined up right. Alright, we're gonna get the 4 screws for the power supply in first before we go ahead and do the other stuff. So this has some long screws here, so we'll get the long screw in, and then we gotta line this up. So pull it up into place and get that in. Okay, we just loosely fit it because we want to make sure to get the other side aligned. So get that screw in, pull it up to align it. There we go, and tighten that. Again, we'll loosely fit it so we can get the other two in at the bottom. Let's get this one in. Tighten that down. Okay, then the other one. That. And tighten this down. Okay, then we can go ahead and tighten the other two in. Perfect. Alright, then we'll get this in. Line that up, pinch that together. Perfect. Okay, now we got to get the speaker. Okay. Alright. Get the top screw. Line this up. Okay, make sure you can see the screw mount in there. And get that screw in. Tighten that. Get the other one. Get that screw in there. And tighten that down. Perfect. And tighten this one down. Alright, I think we got everything reconnected. You want to take a look, make sure everything else looks good. Because once you put this on, good luck doing it, taking it out and doing it all again. Okay, so these two are for the screen. The rest, I think we got reconnected. Okay, so now we're going to switch back over to the GIS 0 screwdriver, and we're going to put this bar thingy back in. So we're going to have to tilt this down. Probably put this further back here. And yeah, so there's a front and back. You don't want this silver side forward, you want this side forward, and usually it helps to kind of like line it up and get one of the screws in first. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so we'll get this screw and we'll line this up here and get this guy in there. This is going to be tricky, especially with the camera in my face. Let me see if I can. I'm going to move this closer and point it lower so that hopefully you'll be able to see and it won't be as much in my way. Okay. Probably going to have to do it like that. Okay. So we're going to get this bar into place here. Okay. And then we got to kind of hold it. So this is going to be tricky. It might be easier for me to get the second one in than the first one. Let's see here. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. Let me lift this thing back up. Might help to use this to kind of hold it, maybe. Okay, nope, that's not going to work. So let's see if I can get one more in the center somewhere, because the outer one is a little more difficult. So let's try and go for this guy, because this one I can actually hold. The fourth one in. Okay. Get the screw on there. And we'll get this into there. Uh-oh, that didn't work right. Yep, not quite. It's so difficult to hold this thing up in place because of the shape. I don't know if there's not really a place with more space for my finger to hold it. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a special tool that makes this easier, but I don't have it. So, let's get this up again. This thing, reinstalling this piece is such a pain. Come on, stay in place. It would help to have like a second person holding it, and then like one person holding it and one person doing the screws. That would make it a lot easier, but I'm just one person, so oops, I'm not even showing you guys. I'm trying to get this one in. There we go, I think I got it. Okay, there we go. So we got that one. I'm gonna loosen it up so it's not too tight. Then we can hopefully go ahead and get the other ones a lot easier. So let's get this second one in here. There we go, perfect. First one. Okay, perfect. And now we just go down the line and hopefully they'll all go in very easily. Okay, tighten that one up more. We'll just continue down the line. Oops, sorry. It's going out of view of the camera. But hopefully you get the idea by now. Let's actually move this further back. And hopefully you can see all of it now. Okay, so we just gotta get all these screws back in. Okay, now we'll get this one. Okay, and let's get the last three. And the screen we're gonna have to test, so it's gonna be a little tricky, but we'll see what we can do. We're gonna get some tape to hold the screen in place temporarily, and then we will use the double-sided tape later once we test and make sure everything looks good. Okay, but for now I'll put the double-sided tape strips in here. That way we don't have to worry about putting them in later. Okay, so double-sided strip tapes look like that. Wow, this is going to be a very long repair. Okay, let me do that and then angle it down a little, probably is better. Okay, so it comes with all these double-sided adhesive strip tapes. Okay, so you got these L-shaped ones. Those ones go at the bottom. Okay, and usually I'll just grab one and then we'll see which side peels off. Like you can see, the adhesive is very difficult. So let's see, let's try this other one. Usually one side peels off easy, but on this one it's not doing that. Let's see, this is the double one, so I think we actually have to peel off the clear side first. So if that's the case, this one will go on this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and peel the clear side. I'll have to use my fingernail to help peel it. There we go, just like that. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and put this here. Oh, sorry, my head's going to be in the way, so I don't know how I'm going to... Can I record it like this? Okay, basically there's this gap here, and that's where the L goes. So we're going to put that in like that. And then we're just going to go across and stick that down. Continue across and stick that down. Just like that. Tape that across. Perfect. Alright, if you want you can stick that so it's not moving around. Okay, hopefully you were able to see that. I don't know. Okay, then we got this one. We're going to do the same thing. Peel the clear side up. Okay, we're going to set this stuff aside because we got to throw it away. Alright, same thing. Get the L. Start over here with it in between. Just like that. Stick it down. Just like that. Stick that all down. And there we go. Okay, we got the bottom set up. Now we gotta do the other sides. There's a lot to go, so get rid of that. Okay. Man, it's tough because this thing's in my way. Okay. How do I do this? Okay. Got that side. Is that for... Yeah, that's for this side. So this one will go like that. Double one goes on that side, and then we have the two shorter ones. So a lot of times this thing is not lined up right. Let's see. Okay, it's lined up right. I think maybe it's for the shorter ones because this looks perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to peel off one of these clear ones first. And I'm going to align the bottom first here. Okay, then we're going to work our way up and stick that down. Hopefully that's lined up right. Yep. Push that in a little bit. There we go. Okay, then we'll go over here and peel the rest of this clear one off. And slowly work our way down. You want to make sure that it's not going on top of the silver aluminum part. It has to go off to the side on the plastic piece. Okay? Just like that. Okay, and work your way up and stick that all down. Perfect. Alright, next, let's see, we got the two top pieces on the other side. Okay, we can actually go ahead and do this side now. Right, make sure it's all lined up. Looks good. Okay, so we can go ahead and peel one of these off. Oops, just touch it. Stick that side down there. Make sure this is lined up. Nope. Okay, make sure that's all lined up. Then we're gonna work our way up here. Stick that down. Okay. Oh, it's tricky at this angle. I'm gonna have to move it. Hopefully you guys can still see. Yeah, it's going at a weird angle. Let me see here. Okay. Stick that down. Okay. Right, peel the rest of the clear off and continue down. Continue down the line, just like that. Okay, just like that. Perfect. All right, now we got the two top pieces that we got to do. All right, so we'll line that up. You can actually line it up in advance if there's a little bit of adhesive sticking to it. Okay, then we'll hold that, peel this off, and then we'll get that all lined up and stuck back down. Okay, stick that all down. Then we'll go ahead and peel this out. There we go. Stick that all down. Okay. Get the other side top piece in, and we're almost there. Okay, so we'll get this, line this all up. Right, make sure it looks good. Then while holding that in place, we'll peel this off. And then we can stick that down. Okay, now we can go ahead and peel the rest of it off. And we'll follow this. Okay, so there's that. Now we got to get the screen in, and then we got to temporarily tape it. Okay, so let me go grab some tape first, because once I put it, I can't go anywhere. So let me go grab some tape and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and I don't know how I'm going to show this part, but basically we're going to get the screen, put it back on top. Okay. Grab this, get it all lined up. Okay. And this is going to be tricky. You want to make sure this is all lined up. Well, it's not as important currently because we're not holding it in place, but yeah, once you stick it all down, it's going to be very important. One thing we could do is we can stick the bottom part only, and then that way we can tilt it forward like with the original setup. The only thing with that is if we have to take the motherboard out again for any reason, then we're not going to be able to. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some tape. Since it's tilted back, it's kind of holding in place. But what I like to do here is I'll stick a piece of tape vertical here, and not making sure it doesn't go over the edge. Okay, just like that. Stick that all down, just like this. Okay. And this won't hold perfectly, but we'll see. Okay. So do this onto both sides. I don't know if you'll be able to see this side, but it's gonna be in my way. Okay, just like that. And then I'm gonna wrap tape on top of both sides so it can somewhat act like a hinge and hopefully prevent it from falling out. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna cut tape like this, and I like to make little release tabs, so I fold this over like this. Okay, and then same thing with this, fold it over like that. Okay, so we got the release tabs. Now what we do is we'll tape it over half of this, make sure it's only going over the black screen half. Okay, and then fold this over. Okay, and then the other one we do obviously over the aluminum half. And fold that over. Okay, so do the same thing with the other side, and hopefully it'll keep it intact so that we can open and close it. Okay, fold that over, and then we'll cut that, then we'll fold this over. Okay, same thing with this one, fold this over. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to tape this over itself. Oops, I messed up. We can't tape over the black side because if you do that, then the screen is held to the thing, so you won't be able to tip it forward. So we're only doing the aluminum side. Let's peel this off so this little thing helps. Technically you could fold it over, but it would have to be on the inside of the screen, the back half. So we're going to do that for now. Okay, and peel this guy back off. Okay, like that. Okay, and now we should be able to open it. I always push with my fingers inwards, so that way it's still kind of staying even if the tape peels up. Okay, also, don't forget to put this guy back on there. Pretty simple, just line it up and smack it into place. Okay, just push it in. Alright, next thing. What is this little circle? Alright, anyways, next thing we're going to do, we're going to carefully open this, right, tip it forward, carefully open this, and then we're going to grab the cables here. Oh, that's going to be tough to film, but same idea, okay, just put it back in. Okay, so I'll grab this little cable and this cable. Alright, so we're going to do the gold one first. Doesn't really matter which one you do first, but we're going to do the gold one first. It's very difficult. Make sure to line it up. Okay. It's difficult to see, but when it goes in, then you can go ahead and push it down. Okay, and then swing the latch over and click it. There we go. Then we got this cable. I know you can't see, but I have to use both hands, so I can't hold the camera this time. I slot it in slightly, and then now I can go ahead and click that down. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna have to test. So we close that screen up, and then we're gonna use some tape to kind of hold that in place again so it doesn't come out. So let's go ahead and stick that on. Oops, you can't even see. One-time view, other back, raise this higher maybe. Okay, so now we got that, tape that over, and we'll flip that tab over. Okay, then the other one, we'll put another one over here, tape that over, and tape that over. Alright, and that should hold it in place. If you want, you can add one to the side here just so it doesn't come out. Oops, can't even see what I'm doing, but I'm adding one down here, and then we'll wrap that over, and that should make it good enough for temporary use to test, install the OS and everything. Once we're done, we just gotta take these tapes out, pull this forward a little, and then peel all of these out. We do need to take the whole screen out to get the bottom ones out, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go do the OS thing now. I'm gonna be trying to install Windows. I don't know if these will let me install Windows without putting Mac first. Usually you have to do boot camp. If you need help doing the OS install, I have other videos for that, I believe. But basically you would boot into the recovery environment, Command Option R. You can boot, connect to the internet to install it. Sometimes if you didn't update it right, then it might go to a really old operating system. Then you might have to do upgrades in between, not go straight to the latest one. But other than that, that's it. I'll be back to show you guys the adhesive part once I figure out the OS, alright, and make sure it's working. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye for now. Alright, if you didn't already notice, I forgot to reconnect the power button. So this cable, okay, very important. Without this cable, you can't turn on the computer, okay? So this little 2-pin cable is the power button cable. So we'll get that. Alright, push that back in. And one other thing that I noticed is after trying to plug in some USB ports, it wasn't quite aligned. So it helps to have these screws a little loose, plug in a USB port, one of the center ones, and then tighten everything down, double check all the USB ports and everything again. All right, so that's pretty much it. Again, I'll be back once I test everything, and then we'll undo the adhesive protective things and stick it all together. All right, see you guys then. All right, so here's the iMac. I'm actually booting an external boot of High Sierra. I have a USB hard drive with High Sierra on it, so that's what I'm booting. And then I'm going to install, I think Catalina's the latest supported OS for this, and then we'll use Boot Camp to install the Windows. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you guys when I'm probably putting back the thing. All right, so I got this finally working with Windows and also the Mac OS, but since the customer only wanted Windows, I actually just installed Windows directly onto the SSD without doing the Boot Camp. This was a huge pain because this model didn't come with the internal 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. Luckily, it came with the SATA port, so I attached this SATA data cable temporarily, and I had to use an external SATA power connector here to power the SSD or the hard drive while I installed the Mac OS. I had to get a Mac hard drive or external one that I used another Mac to install a Mac OS onto it, so that way it has a full-blown OS on here. I could actually boot from this hard drive SSD with this Mac by holding the Option key and booting from it. Using that, I had to install Sierra, or I had to install, for some reason it wouldn't let me go directly to the latest one, so I think I put High Sierra, then I had to put Mojave, and I was installing it to the external drive, so I had another drive here connected. Okay, so I had another drive, this drive here connected with the power external, and we installed High Sierra, then Mojave, and then finally we were able to install Catalina. And once I did all those installs, it updated the firmware on the I guess the BIOS CMOS chip to support, or whatever chip, to support UEFI booting and also the EFI like stuff. So I had to use all this to do it. Then I had to use a little USB drive to boot up the Mac OS, and then go into Boot Camp, and then create a bootable, what do you call it? Not a bootable, like the driver's disk for this, the install media, to install the Windows drivers. I used a Windows computer to create a Windows 10 install USB. Then I was able to, once I updated everything on here, I was able to boot from this USB and install directly to the M.2 SSD that's in there. So it's a very complicated process. Basically, you need a SATA connector with an internal drive because the NVMe driver doesn't really like to boot by default, and also if you have like an older OS, it won't even like that. So yeah, basically had to first connect a SATA cable, use external SATA power, and then install or plug in a drive to that so that it acts like an internal drive, like an internal, the one with that's in that empty slot. Install Mac OS to this and update it to the last supported version to make sure that the firmware and everything is all up to date. Once we did that, then we were able to create the Boot Camp media here, and also use a Windows computer to create a Windows 10 installer, or Windows, you can do a Windows 11 as well, but we did Windows 10. So we created that USB, and then we were able to plug in this USB, power on the thing, hold the Option key, boot from this. You have to boot from the EFI one, not from the Windows one. Then you can install Windows 10. Once you're done installing it, you get the drivers on here from the Boot Camp thing. Do that, put that all on, and yeah, it was a huge pain, and it took me a long time to figure out that this was the only way to get it to work. I had to take this Mac apart like 5-6 times. It's a huge pain. But anyways, we're gonna take this tape off now. We're gonna open this thing back up, and then we're gonna reassemble it properly. So we got all this tape here, and we're gonna have to take all this tape out. Okay, I didn't even sleep. I worked on this probably more than 10 hours. Alright, anyways, we're going to lean this forward now. And you can see I have the SATA cable here. I am going to have to disconnect all those cables in there. So you saw how to do that already, so you don't need to watch this part again, but I'm just going to record it for documentation purposes. I didn't record all the redos, retries that I did, but yeah, I had to redo so many times to get this thing to work. Alright, it was very annoying. And I'll show you in a bit, like, because I covered the screws at the bottom, those little JIS 0 screws, so it was even more difficult because I had to remove the motherboard at a weird angle to get it out. Okay, so we're gonna peel the screen out. We're gonna set that aside. Okay, make sure it doesn't fall over. We can actually peel all this tape out because we're not gonna need it anymore. We are done. We just gotta reassemble everything. Okay, got that. Then we got this. We're just going to peel all this tape out. Okay, so we're going to take all of that out. Alright, so I need to take the motherboard and everything back out. I didn't put all the screws back in because to make it faster and easier to work on. I only took out what I needed to get the thing out and into place. So we're going to go ahead and use the T10 Torx 10 again. Alright, and you'll see this is really all the screws you need. Maybe you might need some for the speakers as well, but let's see. So I took the two from this, I only put two back for the fan to hold it temporarily while I tested and made sure everything worked. I'm gonna have to go and get all the other screws, but the main thing here that you're gonna have to watch is how to get the motherboard or logic board out without removing this little bar, the bar at the bottom that we removed last time. Okay, because this time I'm not going to be removing that since it's covered with the tape, and if I peel the tape it's going to get all out of shape. Alright, we're going to get the fan disconnected, and then we're going to pull that out. Okay, you already saw how to do that. Alright, and then we do have to take some of this, I guess all the screws. I only put two of the screws to hold the power supply in place. Okay, so we're going to get those out. Oh, and actually I should disconnect the power button first, but let's undo this screw. Okay, so we'll do that. Alright, then we're going to undo the power button here. Same thing, the wings, just wiggle it. Okay. Okay, there we go, disconnected. You can pull this to the side so you have a little more room. One screw there. The hardest thing to remove here is the power supply cable. That thing that's behind the logic board is very difficult to pop out. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if they made it so difficult. Alright, let's get this cable off. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're going to pull this forward a little. Then we got to pinch that again. And we got to pull that out. You already saw how to do this. It's annoying. It's just, there's not much room in here, and you got to kind of work it. Come on, let go. Okay, I think we got it. Is it coming out? I don't know. Come on, let go. Okay, I'm gonna have to get closer so you're not gonna get a good view probably. But let's see here. Come on, let go. Ow, and this thing is cutting my finger. I hate this cable. Why'd they make this one so difficult? It's like punching a hole in my thumb. Okay, there we go. Got that out. Alright, we don't need to remove the little one that's down there because we're leaving this in place. Alright, then I put a screw here. Okay. Alright, and then we got one up here. Oh, we do need to remember to remove all those cables before we do this so we don't accidentally damage something. So look at that. Okay. We're gonna flip this latch for the camera cable and then pull that out, wiggle it, There we go. We're going to move this aside and pull these antennas out. And technically I don't have to pull the motherboard out, I don't think, to get this cable, but I guess I'll just do it to show you. Alright, we got to remove these cables again as well. Flip that up. And then get this one out. There we go. Alright, then I put 2 screws down here. I think that's all the screws. Oh, I think I forgot to plug the speaker in here last time. But that's okay, we didn't need it for setup. Okay. And I think that's all we need to remove to get this whole thing apart. So, okay. There we go. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to get this motherboard out. So I'll show you, we're going to get this out without taking the thing out. It's a little bit risky though, so I would still recommend removing this if you can. But because I put the adhesive down, it's too late. So we're going to move these out of the way. Okay, so what you do, you rotate it upwards. Okay, it's caught on something. So you got to rotate it this way. And then you got to slide it out sideways like this, because the this SD card slot thingy is a little bit too big. Alright, so here's the connector we had to add to connect a SATA drive. So we're going to just take that out now. Pull that out. Okay, so now we can go ahead and reassemble everything and we should be good to go. And we have that crucial P3 in there. Putting this thing back in is somewhat tricky. You got to go in at a weird angle, kind of wiggle it around, try and get it in. Be very careful, gentle as well. Okay, just like this. Come on. You can see it's not quite going in. And then you gotta kind of rotate it to get it in. It's much easier to get it out than to put it back in, because when you get it out, like, it pushes other stuff out of the way that need to get out of the way. When you put it back in, it's tricky. And there's also this piece under here that gets caught on that raised mount. Technically, if they remove that one raised mount, you would be fine doing this the whole way easily, but Apple wanted to make it difficult, so that's how it is. Alright, so let me see. Come on, get back in there. Yeah, this is gonna be a pain. Come on. Man. It's tricky, this piece. Come on. Is that going? Is that going? Rotate, please. Nope, it's getting caught. It's hard to do it at an angle that makes it so you guys can see, but there's no point doing this if you guys can't figure it out, right? There we go. Okay, so we got that in. Just gotta wiggle it around till you get it in the right spot. Make sure these little tabs don't get in the way. Come on, get back out. Okay. Alright. We'll slowly lower that down. Lower that down. Okay. Alright. Now we got to plug the power supply back in here, because that one's the hardest to reach. So we're going to do that first. We do also want to pull this speaker cable out of the way so it doesn't get trapped under there. Okay. Oh, what is it caught on? There we go. We're going to move that out of the way. If anything, you can actually plug this one in first. Gotta be very careful with this. Okay, line that up. It's hard to do it with and record it. Okay, there we go. Alright, power supply cable here. Pull that back out. Get that all lined up. And get that in. There we go. Hold the other side and push it all the way. Okay. There we go. I didn't hear it click, but it looks like it's in all the way. Okay. There we go. Click that in. Okay. So now we got to get all the screws back. And that's the somewhat difficult part. So we're gonna have to get that one that's down there in. but it's going to be tricky because we have all these little pieces somewhat in the way. This needs to go up further in. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is put these two. Let me go get those screws. I'm going to have to get all the other screws. Alright, I'm back. So, the easiest way I found to put that one screw there, which I don't know if I'll be able to record it. That's the T25 or Torx 25 screw. I found it works best to actually lay this thing down, okay, and you put it upside down, so that way if you drop it, it'll just roll back out, okay. Let's see if I can somehow show this. Okay, like that, and zoom in. Okay, you can see where it goes right there. We're gonna just fit that in first. Alright, and this screw is a little bit tricky because it's so wobbly. But if you can do it by hand, you can do it by hand. That might be easier, but get that in, lined up. There we go. Okay, so I just loosely fit it first. We're going to stand it back up, and then we'll put the rest of everything together, okay? Oops, sorry. There we go. Let's raise this back up. Be careful because you don't want things falling around. Okay. Next, pull this out. Make sure that you get the power cable in place. Okay, so now we got that raised up. We're gonna lift that and get those two screws in. Okay, using the T8 or Torx 8, if I can find where I put it. Here we go. Alright, so next I'm gonna put these guys in. Okay, loosely fit it first. Okay, and then we gotta make sure all these cables end up back on top. So if you want, you can actually reconnect all these cables to make sure everything is good before you lock it all down. Okay, push that. Wireless antennas, these can be a little bit tricky. Let me actually zoom in here a little bit. Okay, I mean, I already showed this multiple times, so hopefully you guys got it by now. But yeah. Oh wait, let's start with the furthest one so we have more room to work on it. Okay, line that up, pinch that in. Second one, line that up, pinch that in. Other one, line that up, pinch that in. Last one, line that up, pinch that in. Okay, got all the wireless antennas. Okay, let's go ahead now and get this one screw in the corner up here in, so that way we don't have to worry about it wiggling all over the place. We're just loosely fitting it first. And one trick we have to do, we have to actually plug in USB port, USB device on the back, so that way we can make sure it's aligned. But let's go ahead and get these two cables in. Okay, so this one, line that up, pinch that in. Line this guy up. This one's going to be difficult to line up because the whole motherboard needs to be lined up. But there we go. Actually, that went in easier than expected. Okay, let's go ahead and tilt this back up. Switch to zoom out to 1. Lift this up higher. So much stuff in the way. Okay. All right, so we got this guy. Line that up. Then we'll get these screws in. Alright, this is a very big project, this kind of repair. It would have been way easier if it just had a normal 2.5-inch SATA hard drive like all the other models I worked on. But there we go, loosely fit that. We'll get this screw in, and tighten that down, perfect. Get that, tighten that down, perfect. It helps to have 2 USB drives. Okay, so you can put them like side by side. You will have to have the screw down here in to keep it more aligned on the 2. Okay, so we'll get this screw in. We're not going to tighten it all the way, we're just getting it so that it's loose. That way we can wiggle it around if necessary. Okay, get this one in. Okay, so like I said, 2 USB drives. We're going to turn this around. All right, and you got all the ports on the back. So what we're going to do, we're going to put one here. Okay, and then we're going to put another one here at the furthest one. And that should keep the whole thing aligned. Did I put it upside down? There we go. And that should keep it all aligned. It does help to kind of like push the board down when you do this. So make sure that it's all in. But you can go ahead and tighten the screws to push it in place. And then you can go ahead and push the USB ports in more. Make sure they're all lined up. Okay. Alright, so we got those 2 screws. The USB ports look good, so we're just going to take them out now. Okay, then we're going to rotate this back over. Okay, we got another screw down here. We're going to get that in. And now that we got all the USB ports lined up, we could technically get all the other screws in. I'm going to get this one in. I probably should have done that one earlier, but there we go. And then this one. Okay, there we go. Is it in all the way? Why is it still turning? Did this screw strip or something? It's just turning non-stop. I don't know what's going on there. Did I do something around here? Why is this screw just going non-stop? Comes back out, so it must be it got stripped or something, but I'll tighten that as much as it goes. Okay, there we go. All right, then we got these longer screws here, one in the middle. Okay, don't forget there's a hidden screw in here in this hole. It's hard to find where the lining is, where it's lined up to. Come on. Isn't it lining up? It's difficult. I'm going to have to do it at this angle maybe. There we go. Okay. Tighten that in. Okay. Another long screw here. Get that one in. Okay. Perfect. Make sure all the screws are tightened all the way. You don't want a loose screw falling inside. Okay. Alright, we gotta get that T25, Torx 25 screw mount tightened in. Good. Okay, back to the T8, Torx 8. Make sure that you pull the power button cable out from here. Okay, you don't want that trapped under there, or you're not going to be able to turn on the Mac. Okay, and plug that in. There we go. Okay, so next we'll get the power supply in place. So we have these longer screws. We'll get that in slightly, lift it into place, and then we can tighten that. Just loosely fit. Okay, same thing with this one. Get the screw in slightly, and then you can raise it up into place and tighten that. Alright, there we go. Now we got the 2 bottom ones. We're almost done here, guys. Home stretch. This is a very long repair. Okay, get that one tightened in. Get this one tightened in, and hopefully we got all the other cables. Is it lined up right? It doesn't feel lined up right. Come on, get up. Okay. There we go. Tighten that in. Perfect. Tighten this in. Perfect. Tighten this in. Perfect. Alright, get the speaker lined up. Okay, loosely fit. Get the other one down here. Tighten that in. Perfect. Tighten this in. All right, and then don't forget this cable here. Okay, punch it in, perfect. All right, so we got all that. Make sure this is all flat because we're gonna have to peel that out. All right, we got this cable in, we got the wireless antennas in, got the speaker here, the other speaker here, got this connector in. I think that's pretty much it. So now we got to get this, and this is the tricky part because we got to peel that out when we have this in place. Okay, so we're going to get the screen into place here. Hold that in. Be careful. Oh, oops, what am I doing? I didn't put the fan. Yeah, make sure you put the fan back. You don't want the thing to overheat. Okay, I don't know why. I don't know why or how I forgot that, but let's get that in. Okay. Oh, man, come on. The sticky pad thing is making it difficult to get out of the way. Okay, so I'll line that up. All right. Okay, loosely fitting it first. Okay, loosely fit that. All right, last screw. Let's tighten them all down. You can pull the fan down into place. Okay, tighten this all down. Alright, last screw. And get this cable in. Okay, there we go. Alright, and now we just got to get the screen in. The tricky part. Okay, we're going to tilt this up more. Pull this further back if we can. Oh, too much stuff in the way. Alright, give me a second. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the screen into place. Okay, just line that up. This can be tricky. It's best to line this all up first. Okay, line up the bottom. You shouldn't feel any sharpness if you go up and down. Try and get it as aligned as possible. Okay, feels like here's a little bit. I guess it's not perfect. There's a little bit of no matter what. Okay, so now the tricky part is how do we get this to go without it falling. So I'm probably gonna have to use my foot to hold the stand and then hold it like that. I'm pushing with my fingers forward and then pulling down with my thumb to keep it aligned. And then we're gonna try and peel these red things off. Can we? Nope, it peels the whole thing out. So what we're going to, oh, actually it worked. Oops, I should have left it. Okay, now it's going to be tricky because I'm going to have to align it while I'm holding it. So, uh-oh, come on, let go. There we go. Okay, so we got to align this right the first time right away. This is going to be tricky. The bottom piece of tape is a pain. Okay, my head's probably going to get in the way. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. Okay, oh, it's sticking already. Come on, you gotta go in right the first time. So it's best to kind of line up one corner edge, and then you can go ahead and slowly let this go in. Okay, so that seems to be good. All right. Yep, all right. We can go ahead and push the bottom in. All right, now that we got that, what we're gonna do, we're gonna carefully tilt this forward. Okay, it is held in with adhesive now. We're gonna, excuse me, carefully, slowly open it because the adhesive down there is kind of strong. And then we're gonna reattach those connectors that we left disconnected in there, okay? You get the idea, all right? Again, hold the thing, pushing with your fingers forward into the stand so it doesn't rip it out, so the screen doesn't just fall off. Okay, line this up. Get that all lined up. And then push it down, perfect. Then we'll flip that latch down, pull that into place, and click it. Good. All right. All right, next we gotta do, or last we gotta do this connector, and then we'll peel all the adhesive stuff out. Sorry, it's probably really blurry because it's focusing on the wrong stuff, but hopefully, I mean, you get the idea. Just get the connectors in. This is too difficult to do with the camera in my way. Okay, let's see, how am I gonna do this with the camera there? I guess you're just gonna see a blur, but hopefully you get the idea. Just line it up, slot it in, okay, and then click it down. Perfect. Okay, make sure it's all clicked into place. Then we gotta peel out the rest of the adhesive. So let's see here, how can I show this? Basically, we'll start with the bottom ones first. Okay, so I guess let's move this back more. And raise this higher, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna start with this, peel this off, okay? Just like that, and make sure to keep holding it away. Peel this off. We'll go to the other side and do the same. Oh, you can't see it, but I'm gonna peel this guy off. Okay, peel this guy off. And then we'll peel the top ones off. I probably should have tested it before peeling all. Oh, that didn't come out right. How do I? Gotta peel up the white part. There we go. Then we'll get this off, and we'll get this off. This is a little risky because I didn't confirm everything is connected back properly. I'm pretty sure I checked, so I think it should be good. We're gonna carefully close this back up, and then pinch all around. And that's not good enough. You actually have to put some tape to hold it in place, like so it's squeezing overnight, 24 hours. Or you can just lay it on its back like this for 24 hours so it's the weight of the screen is squeezing on it. But we're going to get tape here, and we're just going to tape this over, wrap it over, just like that. It helps to also tilt the screen backwards. All right, so I'm going to put that, wrap it over, good. And all these pieces of tapes that we used, we're just going to wrap it around and use that to hold it temporarily. Okay. And this is just there to keep the adhesive pressed against the frame, so to make sure it gets a nice solid stick. All right, down here, pull it and wrap it around. All right. This. And then I guess I'll show you guys powering it on, because now it boots Windows. Oops. Get that tape on there. And the last piece, I guess we'll cover the camera. We're just going to put it over the middle. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm going to take this out, and then I'm going to power it up and show you guys it boots into Windows. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, well, I plugged it in and it turned itself on. I heard the chime, so it should be starting Windows soon. Okay. You'll see the Windows logo. It takes a while for the Windows logo to come up, but after that it runs pretty quick. So we'll give it a little bit. There you go. And that's pretty much it. You can see it's working now. Alright, hopefully this video helped you guys out. It's a very long one. Hopefully it had lots of useful, helpful tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.